Hello, this is our intermediate submission for the Nature Cloud project. In this video, we show our current AWS deployment, the execution of the three workloads, automatic scaling under load, and the request metrics recorded by our instrumented worker. As you can see here, we're doing this video on the last versions submitted for this intermediate version of the code, and we can also see the Amazon machine image used for the deployment. Right here, I just did three requests that go directly to the worker instance without passing through the load balancer, and all workloads responded successfully. Then on the right, we can see on the AWS console the running EC2 worker instance used by the system. Right here, I'm showing the AWS application load balancer that serves as a public entry point of the system. And we can also see that the instances can go from 1 to 4, and because nothing's running yet, we're just at 1. And now back to terminal, we run the provided test scripts through the load balancer, showing that the requests are correctly forwarded to the worker. Okay, and now in another terminal, as you saw, we're going to run this while loop to generate a sustained heavier loads in order to trigger autoscaling. We have to wait a couple minutes before the load is sufficient for the scaling to happen, but I'm gonna cut the video here and I'll be back when the activity page has the new action. The history you see already here is from a previous run. You can actually see the scale down from 2 instances to 1 instance. But yeah, like I said, I'm gonna wait a minute and be back when the scale up happens. So these minutes have passed, and now you're gonna see me refresh this page and see that now the desired capacity is of 2 instances instead of 1. And we can also see the actions have already appeared with the scale up happening. And then we go to the EC2 instances page and see the 2 instances appear. So what this means is that sustained CPU usage was above the target for a period of time, so the scaling policy increased the desired capacity and launched an additional worker. What I'm doing here is searching for the IP of the worker so that we can then observe the CPU live activity of each of the 2 existing instances. And now for the second instance, we do the same. So we can see that the second worker instance is also actively processing requests. What this means is that the system is distributing load across the 2. And after some time, you can see the status of the scale up as successful because it has already happened. And as you can see here, I'm stopping the workload so the group can eventually scale back in. But as I was doing that by coincidence, another scale up from 2 to 4 instances was happening. So I'll let you see. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, I had to wait for a bit more for this to scale up and then for all to scale down, which I'll show you now. After the load disappears and after these 2 new instances scale up, we eventually got the target tracking policy to scale the group back down, and that's what we see here. Here, because we were at 4 instances, it just scales back to 3, but because there's no load at all, it eventually scales back to 1. So to finish, here we can see the metrics recorded for each process request, including workload, complexity, duration, timestamp, and feature values. At this point of the project, our system already supports multi-threaded VM workers, AWS configured load balancing and auto scaling, as we saw, and working instrumentation with MSS metric storage system.